Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome again to yet another Friday session of Breakthrough. How is everyone today? How are you? Hello, Stevens. Hi. Could we warm up the room and everyone unmute yourself, wave to everyone else, and just say hello. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
Hi. Good morning. Okay.
Hello, Stevens. This is Leonard. Nice to see you here.
Good morning. Hi, Stephen. Cordelia here. Looking forward to your sharing. Hi, Rome.
Hi, Dr. Cordelia.
Hi.
So nice to have you. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Shivalila. Good to have you again.
How are y'all?
Hi, everybody. Hello, Lila.
Hi, Mr. Lennon. Hi, Mr. Steven. Hi,
Hello,
everyone.
hello, hello.
Hello, hi. So we had a bit of a pause last week, but we're back this week on our regular breakthrough session. Stephen, thank you so much for your kind agreeing to be interviewed this morning. A little bit of background to those who do not know what this is, Dr. Cordelia. Breakthrough is a session that we have every Friday morning since MCO, where we invite guest speakers to share their breakthrough stories. So hence the name of the segment. Yeah.
Nice.
It's we figured that during the pandemic we needed some inspiring stories. We needed to feel get a boost of positivity and get that injection. So amongst us, we put our heads together, we came up with this segment, and now it's becoming a regular must-have for every Friday morning in Ideascape. Thank you so much again. Thank you. I'm so grateful. When I heard the story about how Stevens, what you went through and the journey in your life, I said, we must talk to this guy. We have to know what is the formula? What did you do to make yourself go through all this? And yeah, we're so keen, so eager to know. Stevens, can you unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and share your story with us? Give us a little bit of background and how you came here.
I think I'm unmuted. Can you hear?
Yes.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for this invitation, and of course, thank you to my dear friend Leonard, who sort of conned you guys to call me in.
No lah.
Yeah, compare my story with many hundreds of thousands and millions of other stories there. I am also humbled by many other breakthrough stories. But thank you for this invitation. It's always a joy and honor for me to be able to share what I've gone through. So a little bit about me. I was a former busy, like a headless chicken entrepreneur, running all over just to make sure my business survive. And at a time when my firm was given a huge multi-billion-dollar contract back in 2002, I told my wife that the breakthrough has finally come, and being a millionaire was very close already. I could even smell the money with the contract. And what do you know? God has other plans for me. So about what, 2-3 weeks, I can't even remember what happened, or how long was I going to get my first check for my contract. I got a very bad migraine headache, so painful that I could not even raise my head. And then after many GP consultants, they finally asked me to go and see an ophthalmologist. And the first thing I heard from him was that my eyes um, is I've got a very, very high pressure.
Mm.
Um, it's higher than normal, and if it doesn't go down over the weekend, they will have to perform surgery for me. So that was the first time I heard the word glaucoma. So in my mind, I was just thinking I must have been so busy that my eyes have gone into a coma. I just didn't know what was it, what struck me, because having problems with my eyes was the last thing in my mind that I will be affected with, maybe heart attack, maybe cancer, but fighting an eye disorder, because up to the point where I was admitted to the eye hospital, I could see very well. I can drive all the way up to Alostar, all the way up to further north at night, and I don't have any problems with my night vision driving. So to have that was a bit of a shock for me. Not a bit, but big shock for me. So from fighting to be a rich and powerful billionaire, I guess. Now, just when you thought you're about to get it, then now you got to fight to save your eyesight. So it's a complete different, um, how would I word it? Fight now. It's a different fight. Now, the fight to keep my eyesight, to keep myself from being blind. But despite the many surgeries, blah, 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 drops, and all sorts of funny treatments, I finally lost all of it back in 2007. At the age of 45, I became blind. I had many complications, and it was because of my bad lifestyle prior to having glaucoma. I was already a diabetic young, yeah, mainly because of my poor lifestyle, healthy life. I don't have a healthy lifestyle. Every night, drink, smoke, you name it, late supper, whatever. So, yeah, that's in a nutshell what I've been through.
Okay. So, Stevens, the was it on one eye or both eye was together gone?
Well, normally glaucoma will hit one of your eyes first. Then after that, the next eye will get it. So I got it on my right eye first. I became a one-eye jack after my first surgery. But in time, it affected my left eye as well. So yeah, in about 5 years, the doctors were doing what they can to prevent me from losing all of it. Yeah, but in the end, the complications was just too overbearing, I guess. A lot of pressure, a lot of stress. So at the end of the day, they couldn't do much to save my eyesight.
So the final time when you lost both eyesight was, when was this?
2007.
2007.
Yeah, at the age of 45.
Okay. Do you mind if we walk down that road and you share with us that very moment, the first day of your life with no light?
Sure, no problem. I was already, in a way, I thought I was already mentally prepared for the day to come, but I could not see at all because prior to that, a year plus ago, I was already experiencing bleeding in the eye. As a diabetic patient, you will get bleeding because when you do surgery, any surgery, microcirculation will definitely be affected, and that will cause bleeding. So in my case, because of the surgeries, because of my diabetic condition, I could bleed anytime. And prior to losing all my sight for that 1 year plus, there will be times when I was still trying to do some work. There'll be times when I would walk or take public transport to see my clients or trying to do something. And I've had experiences of suddenly your eye bleeds. And it's not a painful bleeding. It just make your eyes blurry and you become blind. I've had few occasions of that. Once during a meeting, and another one time when I was taking a public transport. So that made me realize I just have to stop everything and just obediently stay at home and probably wait for that day. And true enough, it happened on that day when I woke up. And for the first time after being married to my wife for so many years, I just could not see her face anymore. Uh, um, it was just dark. So what I remembered on that day was I just refused to wake up because to me it's like what's the point of waking up? You know, it's all dark. I can't see anything. The only difference is I'm still alive and I can hear noise. But of course, I cannot be in that state for too long because I still have to go for my biological break and I could get hungry. So I after a long tussle with myself, um, I knew I just have to face whatever it is. So yeah, that moment was certainly depressing.
Yeah.
Certainly, you lose all hope, everything.
How long?
Yeah.
How long were you in this stage? And then like, who brought you out? Did you pull yourself out, or did you have like your family, or did you have counseling? Did you have any kind of support to help you go through the new life you have?
Well, put it this way, I'm a very stubborn old man.
Which is good, right? Which is good.
Yeah, because I didn't go for counseling. Neither did I get any support anywhere. Because prior to my disability, I was a very gung-ho person. My colleagues, my friends all knew me as that, I just go and get things done. If you don't do it, fine, I'll do it. I'm that kind of person. I don't really rely. My wife also called me an egoistic, chauvinistic male and that animal. Yeah, and when arguments heated come in, I'll be that male, chauvinistic, egoistic. That's me.
Yeah. But your stubbornness, your persistence pull you out.
Because I believe what I was doing is right. So stubborn. But that time, that's why I didn't go and talk to anybody. Friends, my wife, quiet. She knew. I mean, she's been married to this man for 20 odd years already. So she knows what am I like, and for me, yes, there was times in my life where I just wanted to commit suicide and die and just leave it like that lah. But at the end of it all, I didn't have the courage to do it. I just didn't have the courage to do it because I love my wife very much. I didn't want to grieve her further. to be in that state, if it's painful for me, it's even more painful for her to see her loved one integrated into this disabled person. But she is a very strong person. She opted the other way, not to have sympathy for me, but to have empathy. And she always asked me, hey, get up and do something. Lah. There's so many my blind people around. And they are doing whatever they are doing. And I would snap and we would go into arguments. What, you expect me to go on the street and sell tissue paper or go and massage? You wanted me to massage you? So it was that, I really wanted to give up and just, die. But it's easy to say you want to commit suicide. Sometimes I wonder how people could just commit suicide. If you have the courage to die, why don't you have the courage to face the difficulties that's in front of you? Yeah, I now can laugh about it, but I stayed on the third floor in the apartment. I thought of jumping down, but before I could make that leap, third floor is not very high. You may not die. You probably break your leg. So what? Blind and now crippled.
Yeah.
So that would give more problem to my wife. So I thought of other things, drinking whatever poison that is in my house. My house doesn't have any poison. And being a person who doesn't even bother to do any housework, I could be smelling the wrong thing and drink it, and I end up going to hospital for some other stomach issue. I give my wife more problems. So I then decided, forget it.
It's too difficult to die, is it?
Yeah, I just carry on. But I was like living like a zombie, you can say that. Walking around doing, but there was no soul. Yeah, there was no soul. I just do whatever this needs to be done. And my wife had to go back to work to make sure the mortgages are all paid, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, fate, it was fate. It was the belief in God that finally I just decided to, hey, you know what? There's a God. If there is a God, I've been living my life believing like an atheist. There's no God, a free thinker, what you may say. I just say, if there's a God, now I surrender it to you. Yeah, I lived a life completely failed. Now I just surrender it to you, and with the love and encouragement from my wife, I didn't want to cause her more grief or grief to her family members and my family members. I just say, enough of me, for a big portion of my life, it was always me, more. All the others was just a part of my jigsaw puzzle, if you can say that. They were just there, but the main focus of attention was me. Yeah. So the thing that caught or caused my turnaround was, forget about me. I now focus on those around me, especially to my wife. Instead of becoming a burden, why don't I become a blessing? So yeah, that turned around. I didn't want to burden anymore. I just want to bless. I just want to bless.
Okay, wow. I mean, I'm lost for words. That's very, very profound.
Yeah, it was for me because, everyone is always looking at themselves.
Yes.
And I mean, I always want to say, look, I am an example to you. If you focus on yourself too much, you could end up like that. I pray nobody will end up like me, but when you're too self-seeking, you know how is it in the world? It's always the
Mm.
I. But when everybody I said goes for the I, um, then what happens? we will all clash because it's like becoming a battleground. It's
Mm.
either you survive or I survive.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah,
I think
they say, yeah,
what you just said, your life all about you, it's the I, and then this happened, God took your sight away, and then you decided. I think that's the main thing. It's not about what happened to you, but you decided that you're going to turn from a burden to blessings.
yeah. That's the
Mm.
decision I made. Yeah, stop thinking of myself. Easy to say, but I confess it's a challenge. Still a lot of challenge.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you had that realization, that epiphany,
Mm.
what did you do next? What was your immediate steps after that? I know you had your wife's support and her and love. What was the
Yeah.
first thing that you did, that you put your hands on?
Well, the first thing I wanted to do is spread the awareness of glaucoma, importance of eye health. Back in the year when I started, 2009, um, a year plus after, my loss of eyesight. In the year 2008, the World Health Organization um, came out with a report that said that they are about 8 million people affected by glaucoma globally. And out of that, 100 over 1,000 are Malaysians.
Ooh,
And so little is known of it.
ooh.
People, what is glaucoma? Tak tahu. You know,
Ah,
you ask the Chinese, and there's a word in Chinese for glaucoma, and to them they read it. Oh, that disorder, is it because you will see a lot of bright lights? And so yeah, I founded the Malaysia Glaucoma Society, 2009, with an aim to create more awareness of this eye disorder. And so, together with my wife, of course, she initially was fighting again because, doing NGO work with no income, who's going to pay for the rent? Who's going to pay for the mortgage? Blah, blah, blah. But I said if it's a calling, I'm sure that will be taken care of. And being my stubborn self, I just say I will do what I can. I mean, the doctors have made a lot of money out of me, so it's time they pay back. I sort of go to every eye doctor I know, and I said I'm going to do all this eye screening, community eye health check in shopping centers, in kampongs, in community halls. So I need help. You guys, together with the optometrists, volunteer students. Hey, whenever I do it, come on and let's just go out there and shut up. So one thing yeah, I'm a bit proud of it. It's since that year in 2009, we've done 1,000 over community eye checks, and there's a lot of other organizations that are also doing eye checks now. Because eye
mm,
checks is so important. You do blood tests, you do heart tests for your cholesterol, whatever. I mean, whoever's in the room now, I can't see. If you raise your hand, how many of you have ever gone for eye check?
yeah, well, I
Uh,
I can't raise my hand because I have not. I've taken my eyes for granted, Stephen.
Yeah, everyone
You
has gone for. When I ask them, most would say yes, I've done for eye check, and then when you check further and ask further, oh, they've gone to the optical shop to see the acuity, or the layman term is, do I have short sightedness? How much power? Blah blah blah, and all that. But when you say no, I have check is far more than that. They have to go through the back of your eyes with a camera, of course, not poking anything into the eye, to see how healthy is the back of your eye. In front, yes, but at the back. And if you are 40 years old and above, you need to go and check every year.
yeah.
It's important. Every one of us know our eyes, especially right now in a visual world,
Yes.
where
And
everything is
especially,
so visual.
yeah. And we use our eyes every day. Maybe we don't
Yeah,
use other
yeah,
part of our body every day,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
we use our eyes every day to see, and then it's very intensive because we're in front of the computer most of the time or the
Yeah,
phone.
that's why I said, to even the young people, even my nephew, I would tell them, and sometimes to be the angry and strict uncle. You open up your eyes, you play games. You about to sleep, you also go play game. The trouble is then your eyes doesn't know how to differentiate night and day,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's where your muscles will get into problem and other problems come, which normally the trouble with eye disorder is not noticed
Mhm.
until quite late.
Yep. Yep.
When I
Yep.
got glaucoma, I've really lost 40% of my vision without knowing.
Mm. Okay, wow. It's your stories are just amazing. It's amazing. I'm lost for words because I'm just trying to digest what I heard from you. But what I would like for us to talk about right now is,
Mm,
if I mean, the challenge is different. What we face may be different from what you are facing, Stevens, but
yeah,
maybe the thought process is something
mm,
that we can borrow from you. Yeah.
yeah,
Something that we can take and become our, bekal,
okay,
for whenever we face challenges or hardship gets thrown to us, either health wise or career wise or life or
mm,
relationship or whatever. you know it's the part about not mulling in self-pity.
yeah,
I hear from 2007, and then you finally started the Malaysia Glaucoma Association Society in 2009. So there was 2 years that you actually, there were time that you allow yourself to grieve and to settle down and to come to terms, right? But if
yeah,
you share with us really, you know, that point, that breakthrough point where you actually made that decision to from burden to blessing. um what was your, what did you look for, what did you um what was your, what were you hanging on to, what was your external internal factor that supported you?
mm. Wow, that's a deep question.
Yes.
But maybe I'll put it in this way. Yeah, I'll be a community worker. I never thought I also became a social activist, and I advocate for the equalities of the, not just the blind, but for all the other disabled friends. Yeah, and I brought in a guide dog to disturb the government on this, because you are talking about equalities in access. So if a blind needs a guide dog to bring him all over, that equal access must be given.
Mm.
And then being an entrepreneur previously, I wasn't used to the idea of begging. I call myself a professional beggar after that, for grants, for donations to sustain my work. So I also became a social entrepreneur. So to me, when sometimes friends ask me to come and share and talk, to be honest with you, I don't know the real process, what was happening to me. All I know was, how is it when you are doing your work, and all of you are very career-minded people, professionals. When you focus on your task, you focus on your task, and you want to aim for it, and you want to achieve it, because you wouldn't let circumstances stop you from achieving your vision, your mission. I'm sure every organization is that, whichever leader who founded that organization, you are dead set on that vision, and you want to create impact that way. So you go for it. And for me, my vision was very simple: to stop and fight unnecessary blindness, be it among the sighted or even the blind. Helen Keller once said, "What is worse than being blind is having no vision."
Mm.
Yeah, so I would say sight and vision are two different things.
Yes.
It doesn't mean a blind person who has no sight and has no vision is worse still, double blindness. So what I can share is with my team. I'm involved in also training the disabled community to be, you know, uh, job ready, to be micro business ready. So every time they come in, I go through a process. Perhaps that was, in a nutshell, my own process as well. I always check on them and say, do you accept who you are? Do you accept that you are blind? Do you accept it? That if you don't accept, I can't do anything. And more or less, it's the same out there among the sighted, able people. Do you accept who you are? If you don't accept, it's hard for us, for anyone who wants to, uh, how should I word it, to encourage you to go on.
Yeah.
Acceptance is very important. You have to terima whatever hakikat is in you now.
Mm.
So
Mm.
when you are accept, you need to be aware of your shortcomings and of your strengths. You need to be aware. If you're blind, you don't behave like a sighted person. If you're blind, means you're blind. I have challenges, to be honest with you, with those who are three-quarter blind or half blind. No matter what, they still get an OQ card. I say you are still a visually impaired.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because of that little sight in them, they still treat themselves as a sighted. And they'll be very bitter when people don't engage them and say, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. So back to that, you don't accept that you are visually impaired. You don't. Then it's hard for me to let you know. You need to be aware what are your shortcomings and what are your strengths. Only then, when you have accepted your hakikat, you are aware of your shortcomings, aware of your strengths. Then only can we help you to adapt,
Mm.
to your strengths and start to have autonomy over your life,
Yep.
your choice, your
But you know
power.
what's different about you, Stevens?
Yeah.
Listening to you, um,
Yeah.
a lot of people have also accepted whatever got through to them,
Yeah.
and then their next step is, okay, you know what? I'm like this lah. I got one foot lah. I'm blind lah. I cannot do this. But so they bust and they go deeper into self-pity. And then they go back to the I. They go, because I am like this, you got to help me. It's your responsibility to cater to all my needs. But that's why I see you're different. You're different because you accept it, and then you, in the way of moving on, you are not focusing on the I. You turn around and you become a light to other people. And that is awesome. That's the formula that I am trying to, the code that I am trying to crack today, this morning.
Yeah, well, thank you. But all said and done, at the end of the day, it's between sympathy, apathy, and empathy. What you want to live all your life on sympathy? Depend on. I'm talking about the blind community or any disabled community for that matter. You want to live your whole life on sympathy mode. That means you wait for people to give, or you have to face apathy. Matter of time, sympathy will stop. Yeah, I'm sure nobody would like someone who asks you, for example, Leonard, if I come and ask you to buy me lunch every day, maybe a week, 2 weeks, but after that, what's wrong with this guy? Can he go and work and get a lunch for himself? So what I always emphasize and grumble about, and the only way anything can move forward is all about empathy. It is really putting yourself into the shoes of the other person. Have empathy, not only for others, but for yourself. If you want me to sum it up in one word, it's all about empathy. It's really all about empathy.
Okay. Yes. All right, guys. If you have any question, keep it coming. Drop your question into the chat box. I'm also going to open up Q&A in a bit later. Stevens, now, 2009, you started the Malaysia Glaucoma Society, and tell us your activities. Tell us what is your plan for the future. Tell us your vision.
Well, like I said, stopping fighting unnecessary blindness. Yeah. And I went on to expand on that vision to transform seen and unseen disabilities into potentials. Yeah, we can grumble all day long about this, that, whatever. Government needs to do more, policy needs to be changed, blah, blah, blah. But I think before anything can change, you need to change first. So I am advocating a lot for empathy. I go around conducting workshops on empathy. When I torture my clients in the dark, putting them in a dark room to let them experience what is it like to be in a world of darkness, and to conduct your daily activities. From there, the message is, what have you learned? Of course, it was not me who created this, but it was a German. We are part of the Dialogue in the Dark movement. And I am working continuously over the past, it's some time now, 9 years. It's not only our social enterprise to bring in the much needed funds, but it's also a good platform for us to create awareness about empathy. Yeah, only when you go into that space where you lose control, where you are in the dark, you live the life of a blind person for that moment. So many things changes. I often ask visitors, participants in our workshop, who was the blind person actually in there? You or my facilitators? My facilitators are all visually impaired people, but in their environment, they became sighted, you became blind. So I just told them blindness is just a circumstance. Given if I told the guys, if I do the entire workshop, often I tell my blind, how do you know it's in the dark? I could have switched on the light and cheat them as well. And they will be performing very well. Because they knew they are confident in the dark. But so I often ask, why are you not confident in the light? In the dark, you do everything. So my activity is just to raise their self-esteem, to believe in themselves. And through those activities, which is also we have turned it into an academy to help to encourage this group of people, not just the blind, but the lame, the crippled, the deaf and the autistic, to believe in themselves and to perform. Yeah, don't let your disability give you barriers. Yeah, that's what we are actively working on for the past 9 years already, and it's all at the end of the day. Yes, I hope there will be change in the landscape, for equal treatment for all the disabled people.
Yes,
you
yes,
know.
yes.
Yeah, but it's easier said than done. We
Yeah.
just have to accept that it will take time. So what I do right now is go around public agencies, corporates. It's slow, but at least we have had a few corporate clients who supported our inclusion activities. And we just hope that more will come on board. Even universities are also looking into works of how we could do the empathy experiential workshop. I always say empathy cannot be taught in classroom. Empathy is not theory. You can't teach in a classroom about empathy and then you go out and suddenly you become empathize. No, it doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. There's no textbook for empathy. Yes.
Yeah. So what I do is actively on that. I'm actively promoting that, actively doing that, working with institutions. I believe the way forward is collaboration, not on your own. I've been blessed with partners from both the social, the private, public, and also the education sectors. But it was not easy. Took us nearly 9 years. We're still not there yet, but at least I've taken 2 steps forward. I dare to say that. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you one active question.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you feel or what do you wish? All right. People who are still people who are like us, who can see, in supporting the blind. What can we do to support either the society or your vision? What do you wish? It's an active question because I'm expecting from you an active answer, so that there's something that we can do, to either, support you in your vision. I know, for example, I used to work in Unilever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unilever had a blind receptionist once. So I'm thinking, what's the challenge amongst the blind? Is it in the area of education? Is it in the area of job opportunity? Is it in the area of you know, what is it that we out here can do to support you and your team and your society? What is your wish?
Well, it's again back to that empathy. It's all about empathy. I always often share. It's not only the people, the disabled people have to accept who they are. Society also needs to accept them. After all, we are all human beings. Yeah, just because I don't have sight doesn't mean I'm less of a human being. I still can function. I've got 4 other senses. One sense less doesn't mean I cannot function. So for the society out there, is empathy. Look at them for what they are and accept for what they are. Trouble right now is that all society look at disabled community is they look at them with pity, with apathy. It's not only in Malaysia but globally. I work with a global group of partners, be it in Europe, Africa, or the rest of Asia. It's the same. It's the same. The challenge is accepting, just accepting the person for who they are. You know, just accepting. You know, people don't like me when I say this, but I say it. You know, nobody can escape disability. Sooner or later, you will also be disabled. When you get old, you may not be able to see that well. You may not be able to walk that well. You may be bedridden. Or the chances of everyone getting into an accident is equal. So that's the fact of life. Yeah. So why don't we all learn to accept each other, irregardless of abilities or disabilities? And right now, so many other things comes in, regardless of race, of color, of religion, or whatever. Let's all accept each other.
Yes.
Let's all celebrate our differences.
Yes.
That's an utopian dream, but it's a wish. Can we go there?
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's very touching. I'm going to open up to questions because we have 5 more minutes left.
Okay.
There's a question from Sintu. Sintu,
Okay.
do you want to ask Stevens your
Yeah.
question?
Hi,
You're
Sindhu.
muted, Sintu. Sintu, you're muted. No, we cannot hear you.
She has a very profound question. That's why she's muted.
No, I think she's having some challenge with her mic.
Okay.
So she's saying here, she put on the chat box, I'm curious on the guide dogs you mentioned. Are guide dogs allowed in most public spaces, or is this something you are lobbying in
I'm
the
lobbying.
government for?
I'm
You're lobbying.
lobbying.
Yeah.
Because you still need the government to approve, all the relevant ministries to come together to allow barriers free for the guide dogs. But in every nation, it's not just Malaysia, it's a challenge. The only country in ASEAN is Singapore
Oh,
to allow guide dogs to go freely everywhere with their owners, But even then, our Singapore friends took years getting it debated in Parliament. It took them nearly 7, 8 years. Yeah. It's the same in Japan, it's the same in Korea. It took a lot of years.
yeah.
To more so especially when we are talking our nation is a Muslim nation.
Yeah, it's a
But
Muslim
I
country,
said
right?
Muslims. If I know my Muslim friends, they are not against dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know friends in UK, Australia. They are Muslims. They even bring the guide dog right into the mosque for their prayers, for their
Yeah.
dua, and they just leave outside the village sembahyang. They just
Yeah.
leave it there and wait quietly, sit there and wait for the owner to finish whatever he or she needs to do and go back home. So the guide dog is about independent.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
They
I would
can
imagine.
go everywhere, anywhere without Ebang asking, hey Kak, can you bring me there? Can you bring me there? So the guide dog is independent.
Yeah.
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 I have a question.
Yes,
Hmm.
Dr. Cornelia.
Yeah, I'd like to know, like, because you have lost your eyesight, yeah, how does I mean, do you indulge in activities like, I enjoy listening to music and, I like listening. Do you do more of that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Doctor, thanks for asking that question.
yeah.
Now technology, what? I didn't share this. What made me go back to the world and face whatever it is because of technology. I discovered accessibility. Now I use my iPhone, yeah, my smartphone. I do everything. I do email. I've been communicating with Sindhu through WhatsApp. I was doing it all by myself, all because of technology. Technology has enabled a person like me, an old blind man. I use my phone to even order Grab. If I have a quarrel with my wife, she doesn't cook for me, I order Grab food lah. But I
It's
order
Oh,
for
very,
her as
that's
well.
really cool.
And
that
if she
means,
doesn't
yeah,
drives me to my regular doctor's appointment or whatever, that day I just
yeah.
irk her or irritate her. Okay lah, I order Grab to drive me lah.
Mm,
And yeah, it has made us independent. It made us connected back to the world. Yes, I have Spotify on my phone, so I listen to music a lot. Even up to the point my wife grumble and say, "What you and your earphone and your phone again, listening to what?" So
yeah.
I listen also on YouTube. I missed a lot of new movies, but hey, YouTube has a lot of old movies, so I could remember those things. So I just
That's true.
watch my old movies over and over again. Only thing
You
I don't
know,
do, yeah.
Stevens, I have a blind friend, one
Hmm.
guy,
Hmm.
and he was telling me about how he played football.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
It's a blind football. I know many people are
Blind football.
aware.
And I was like, what? You can play football? Yeah. So there's a
Yeah,
special
yeah,
ball where
yeah,
there's loaching, right?
yeah,
Inside the
yeah,
ball. So they
yeah,
follow the sound of the loaching and chase the ball. I think
yeah, yeah,
that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
There is a
Wow.
blind football there. And a lot of people is aware that actually the world champion, the latest world champion for Street Fighter is a blind Middle Eastern guy who is now
Wow.
residing in Amsterdam. And he's blind. He's the world champion for Street Fighter. Can you imagine that? So that
Uh,
just proves that there
I
are
think
many things you can do without eyesight.
by your side. Yeah, because when one sense is shut down, you enhance the others, you enhance your ears, and then you
Yeah.
have your third eye, you have your instinct, your
I mean,
intuition.
come to think
Must,
of it, when I
yeah,
was sighted at the time, I often closed my eyes to think.
yeah, true.
Ah, yeah.
But must we be skilled in Braille, or with the new technology, can we bypass learning Braille?
So Braille, of course, is a great
It's a must.
invention. It's that it's impacted, but as all good things, um, technology has came and it
Yeah,
can transform life.
I
If
see.
you are stuck in a lift with me and
Mm,
it got breakdown, I can't help you because I don't know Braille, doctor.
yeah.
I
So,
don't know Braille.
I see. Yeah. So actually, we don't really need to know Braille, right? Because I
Yes.
think that
Yeah.
itself is quite taxing,
Yeah.
isn't it, to
Yeah.
learn like
Yeah.
a new
Yeah.
language?
Yeah.
I
But
see.
of course, Braille is still
Yeah.
important in some sense for the
Yeah.
blind people.
Yeah.
Especially not many people are aware that they are still blind and deaf people. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are many blind and deaf. They have to depend on braille. Yeah, they have
Thank
to
you,
depend on braille
Stephen,
to
for
communicate.
sharing that. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Wow.
Probably one last question, Stevens, this Leonard. Is
Hey,
now
Leonard.
after the pandemic, is Dialogue in the Dark now open up again? Or
Yes, we are open up. Somehow the government has clustered us together as the cinema, karaoke, and theme park. So
my
we are
goodness,
non-essential.
what a
Yeah, we
classification.
have been
Yeah.
closed for every lockdown, but we've just reopened our exhibition. We are in downtown, the Well, Plaza Chula,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
will only be there until end of mid-January, but because the tenancy is already up and the management is not going to renew. So yeah,
Oh, that's a shame.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the usual challenge. This will be our number 5 shift if we find the next venue. Over 9 years. We have
Mm.
shifted from Petro
Okay.
Science, KLCC to the school, to Summer University, now the Well, and God knows where. So
Mm.
yeah, we are praying hard for the next venue.
Okay.
Okay.
Jom, we go tomorrow night, nak, Leonard.
Yes, yes, we should.
Yeah, you should bring everybody and let us torture you guys at the dark.
Yeah, I'd love to. I think I'm gonna get my children.
Yeah, I'm definitely bringing my kids. Yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
please bring your kids, because the kids will not only be tormented, they will also torture my guy. Because after a while, these guys are not afraid of the dark. They have no fear.
Okay, we will, Shiva, we will definitely organize a session. Yes, you can come and join us. We will want to see you around also, Stevens.
Yeah, sure. I'm there Monday to Friday because of the, it's still phase 4, but we are still being careful. So weekends we try not to operate.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And we
All
are
right,
still
all right.
on weekdays only. But
Oh, okay.
if there's bookings for Saturday, my team will still go. It's just that we have to make sure that the booking is confirmed.
Okay.
Otherwise, Monday
There-
I
to
think we will
limit?
organize it and make it happen.
Is there a
Yeah.
limit to how many packs you can host?
Well, every tour we are able to guide up to 8 people. So even if your group is 16 people or 15 people, we will just break it up into 2, because every 15 minutes is one tour.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. One final question, a fun question, Steven. What did you miss the most, from those days that you cannot do now? Watching movie or, what are the things that you feel like, this is something I used to do, I cannot do anymore?
Mm. There's a lot of things.
One.
But I guess what I miss most is just taking my wife out. That male chauvinistic me again. Instead of my wife taking me out. I just want to take my wife out for a dinner and just
Oh,
walk around town and then just be like when we were courting.
that's so
I guess
nice.
when,
It's so
yeah,
romantic, lah.
yeah, when you have your loved one who's been with you for so many years, it's fun. Despite all the fights, we are still together.
Yes,
So,
that's
I guess
yes.
we need to just celebrate and stop fighting for one day and just go out and date. Just to, rekindle those moments. That's the one I miss most.
Wow, great. Thank you so much, Stevens. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank
Guys,
you.
unmute yourself. Say your final word to
Yeah, thank you so much. You have been such an inspiration this morning.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
so much,
Thank you.
Steven.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hope
All
to
right,
see you.
bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. Take care. Stay safe,
Bye.
everyone.
Okay,
Stay
Yep.
bye-bye.
as we can.